Welcome to the Fit Strong Women Over 50 podcast, episode number 173. Hi, I'm Jill. Thank you for joining us today.
And I'm Chris. Jill and I are your hosts for this podcast and the founders of the Becoming Ellie community.
We decided to name our community Becoming Ellie because Ellie was the Norse goddess of aging who beat Thor in a wrestling match. Chris and I thought, hey, we want to be like Ellie, fit and strong as we age.
You can find out more about the Becoming Ellie community and this podcast at our website, becomingellie.com. Ellie is spelled E-L-L-I. Sign up for our newsletter while you're there.
Hey, here's a shout out for a 5-star review from Addicted to Anxious Thoughts. Relatable and well-rounded, Jill and Chris share their own journey and talk with guests who are inspiring and insightful. A great resource for women who want to continue to enjoy their active lives. Thank you so much for that review. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks so much. Hey, Jill, today we're talking with Kerstin Schulze about strength training and maintaining health through perimenopause. Let's go to the podcast.
Kerstin Schulze is a powerhouse in both entertainment and wellness. Originally from Germany, Kerstin's journey began with a silver medal at the Junior Olympics in Berlin. From there, she pursued her love for performance with formal theater training and a business degree before making her way to Los Angeles.
Kerstin's acting career is extensive. She's worked with many well-known actors and directors, too many to go into here. You can find her on IMDb if you want to check out her acting life.
24 years ago, she founded Party and Diet, an innovative fitness company that specializes in providing tailored nutritional and exercise programs now designed specifically for individuals aged 40 to 75. Welcome, Kerstin. It's a pleasure having you on our podcast.
Thank you, Jill. Happy to be here. Hi, Chris.
Hi, good morning. You know, when you first started your company, Party and Diet, you were focused primarily on elite fitness programs for busy professionals, celebrities, and even pro athletes, from what I understand. And now you are helping women in perimenopause and menopause. Why and how has this changed?
But personally, I am 51. I always say I preach what I do. And since when I first started my business, I wasn't in my 50s, so I could help people, but it wasn't as relatable for me because I didn't know what the body per se goes through. I always say we don't know what a broken bone is until we have one, right? And it's the same with menopause. So I had more people in front of the camera, behind the camera, traveling that were in their early 40s at the time. And then it just progressed that I started training people that were of a mature age, 50, 60. I mean, my oldest gentleman right now is 94. I just related to it more.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense.
What are the challenges of maintaining vitality, strength, and balance during perimenopause?
Routine. Yeah, first of all, routine. I think food routine, the way we eat is really important. We are a little more sensitive to sugars, but I always say the body loves a routine, loves it. The more we're out of the routine, the more stress we have, the more our cortisol levels go up, the more the body is all over the place. So the first thing I always look at somebody is like, show me your routine and I show you where your life is and where your body is, right? How do you wake up? How do you go to bed? When do you work out? Do you work out when your body feels the best? Or are you feeling pressure to having to work out? So all these are really big components in having a functioning, happy body in our mature age.
Is it different with postmenopause or, any thoughts on those challenges with as far as the routine goes?
I think the post-menopause, you mean as far as like before you even hit menopause or post-menopause while you're going through the changes?
Well, peri, I think, is you where you begin doing changes, and post is after. And I don't know. I think the way they consider actual menopause is 1 whole year without having a period.
Right.
So you could go back and forth thinking
Yeah.
you're post
Um,
and you're still peri, right?
I think the peri is the hardest. Than the post,
Okay.
because the body's going through so many changes and you have to adapt with it and can get very frustrating, because you have to learn a new way of the way your body functions, right? When we're in our teenagers, our body changes into our 20s, and then we are going through those changes, but then it happens again. And I think when you're in postmenopause, if you have figured it out already, great. If not, then we need to take a look at the routine. But I do believe that the premenopause and while you're going through it is the hardest part.
A lot of fluctuations, huh?
A lot of fluctuations, yeah. From, night sweats, day sweats. I mean, I'm going through it right now. All of a sudden, I'm just want to take my clothes off. And I have noticed that when I am really good with my sugar intakes and my protein intakes and my regular workouts and everything, that it regulates a lot easier than when I'm not. Stress levels, they have done the statistic on that women actually have to sleep 9 to 10 hours instead of 6 to 8, because they always have done studies on men and not on women. So post menopause, I'm not in post yet. I'm going right through the premenopause, but all the people that I train right now that are postmenopausal are definitely on the happier end than the premenopause.
A lot of mood
And
swings, a lot of body swings,
It is a
right?
lot like puberty, isn't it? That whole
yeah,
emotional component. And
absolutely. I feel like it's just another phase of puberty that we're going through.
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
That's a good comparison, right?
And then we have to look at, how high is your protein takes? Because when postmenopause, if you haven't made the changes the right way, where are you? You'll have all the effects of, let's say, bone density, hair loss, skin elasticity to mood swings and all of these things that we can actually regulate with exercise and eating right and some peptide treatments, right? Amino treatments, and that help us balance our hormones a little bit better.
Yeah, very good. Very good. That's so true.
peptides keep popping up lately in conversation, I notice. So maybe we'll come back to that. Let's pause a moment and just what services do you offer at Party and Diet?
I offer one-on-one sessions, but that we do online. Like, I have people in France, I have people in New York, I have people in Germany, I have people all over the world that train with me. I have people like Nicole Ray Parker that got ready for a show, and people that come to me in person. Some people I do the nutrition, and then I have my online programs, which I gear towards the 40 to 75-year-olds. There's a detailed information on how to exercise with injuries. So if you have shoulder rotator injuries, lower back injuries, knee injuries, at our age, we have wear and tear. So it comes up way more often. And all of my exercises are geared towards having a toned, strong body that you can do in a very short period of time, and that prevent injuries and actually make you recover from injuries as well. Because that's just my specialty. I get a lot of people like that. I have the programs are geared towards people that are very busy, that live a very busy lifestyle. They're very affordable because I wanted them to be affordable for people, and it's not a subscription; it's a one-time fee. Right now we have a discount. It's 50% off. It's only $47 for the entire program. You get your videos of explaining the exercises, why we're doing them, how to do them, how you can put them together yourself, how you can do a full body workout in 10 minutes. And then I also have a program for people that love to go to the gym, because some people do like to go to the gym and want to have a community that way. And I have my whole blueprint of 16-week transformation on how you do it at the gym, and then also for the traveling. And I'm a strong believer, since I come from track and field, that you're never too old to do little explosions, little jumps, little runs, little sprints. And I'm not talking about full on marathons. I'm actually not a big, strong believer. I have marathon runners, and I have to teach them how to find a balance, because a lot of times they go further because they love that run as high, right? They're running for a reason. But when we go through menopause, really hard for the body, because running is one of the most stressful things on the human body. So, yeah, all those workouts are there, and you can just purchase them. You'll have them forever. And coming in April, after my new show airs on HBO, we will have me going live as well once a week in those groups. And so I can, every Monday, I want to be there. I want to see you. I want to answer any questions you have. I want to see how your form is. And I think it's really important that we support one another in the community. And that's what I'm offering.
That's awesome.
A quick question. What's the HBO program coming out? And
The Righteous Gemstones. Yeah. With Danny McBride, John Goodman, and Walton Goggins. I'm playing opposite of Walton Goggins.
oh, wow.
Say my role yet, but so you know. Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
You might not, well, you will recognize me. There's nobody like me there. But
I saw your Super Bowl commercial with Tina Fey. I did not recognize you. I had to actually really look to catch that one.
That's where you're the body double for Tina Fey, right? That's
Mhm.
very cool.
I
Yeah,
love
very
Tina
cool.
Fey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I have to ask this. I've been wondering since I first heard about it. Party and Diet is a rather humorous name. How did you come up with your company name to be Party and Diet?
Because I believe in balance. I actually wrote an ebook or a book, a plan, a program, and it's free on my website if you ever want it. And it's about balance, and everything in life is about balance. And we want to be of a social setting still. And a lot of it has to do with, sometimes we cheat on the meal, we drink on the meal, we have more sugars or whatever. And how do you stay consistently lean and or at the body that you want? And I figured out the secret sauce to it. And I thought, well, I'm a big believer in having a great time and also being in shape. And that's where Party and Diet came in.
That's fun.
And what type of exercises do you suggest when women over 50 are starting out, like as a beginner, compared to when they've been exercising for a while?
I believe there's certain exercises that are a must. A squat, but it's a seated squat. We call them assistant squats. So when you're getting off a chair, when you're getting out of a car, when you're sitting down to go into the bathroom, when all of these you require a squat. So I always say start from a chair. Like literally, if you're stuck at work, you can do a workout while you're at work. You can just get off your chair 10 times. You can do push-ups against the table, because push-ups on an angle are much easier for the rotators. And a lot of times we have shoulder injuries or rotator injury, or they're just cranky, call them. And then a reverse crunch. You can do it seated, where you're sitting on the chair and you can do a reverse crunch, or you can do it laying down. A reverse crunch is always easier on the back, especially most of us. Even I have lower back issues from mine. I have my third vertebrae has a little bit of a crack. I used to do kayaking down rivers, raging waterfalls and everything. And then one day my back just locked up and I was in this raging river and I was like, why is my back locking up? And my pedal went and so I went to the doctor and they told me, well, genetically you have a little crack in there. So you have to be really careful with your lower back. So I always, all my life now, have trained to protect my lower back. And a reverse crunch is very good to realign your spine. A squat is a full body metabolism jumper, because it takes so much energy to get up off the chair that it requires for the body to get into fat storage, puts it into your bloodstream and burns off more calories. And then a push-up. It's so important to do a push-up for shoulder strength, great arms, and it's a moving plank, I always say. And if you do it on incline against your table where you are right now, you could totally do a push-up, 10 push-ups. If you set your timer for 1 hour, every hour a day, and you do 10 squats, 10 push-ups, 10 reverse crunches, if you do it 4 times a day, that is 40 push-ups, 40 squats, and what is that? 15 if you do
Reverse crunch.
crunches. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 40, 60 reverse crunches. You do that 3 times a week, there's your workout.
That's awesome. I noticed on your website you have a video that focuses on form for squats, lunges, push-ups, and other common exercises. Are there common mistakes that you find that women over 50 make when they're just starting to work out again?
They want to go right, like I mentioned before, right into a freestanding squat. Don't do it. A assistant squat, you should be able to get out of the chair and sit back down, and then you should start adding weight to get up. It's always easier for the lower back. A lot of times people traveling into your tippy toes and not using the heel. The heel and toe, big toe connection is really important. So keep the heel down, keep your big toe down. It makes you use your adductors and abductors a lot more. This means you're in and out of muscles that stabilize the lateral muscles. And vacuum the abs, I call it, and not vacuuming the house, but vacuum the abs. And you can vacuum your abs anywhere you are. I can vacuum my abs right now and train my abs. All I'm doing is sucking my abs in and holding them as long as I can while I'm talking to you. And that will actually tighten up your core. So the biggest mistakes that I see when people exercise, they go way too far, too fast for too long. I think starting with 5 to 10 minutes is more important to do it on a regular basis than to do just 1 hour a day. I mean, 1 hour a week. And then you're so sore that you can't move anymore. What else? Maybe starting with weights too heavy. I think starting with your own body weight is way more important than starting with weights.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I know myself. Sometimes I get too excited about my latest goal and go too far too fast, once a week. And then I'm like, oh, I'm sore. I've got to slow down and recover, but I like the idea of doing, consistently every day.
Yeah, we're back
like
to the
that.
routine that you were
Yeah,
talking about.
routine. Right.
Right. But you don't want to do the same muscle group every day. So if you do, let's say you do Mondays is weight training, I would say do a yoga class on Tuesday. Then Wednesday do a weight training class. And then on Thursday, you could go for a group walk with friends, right? And then Friday do weight training again. Don't do it. If you do weight training every day, you definitely have to break up the muscle groups. And because the larger muscle groups take 48 hours to recover, the smaller muscle groups take 24 hours to recover. So you have to rotate them, otherwise you're going to burn them out. And biggest mistake I always see is people on this big weight loss Ozempic and helpful tools that I don't. There are, GP1 and all of these things, peptides are good to help you lose weight, but you have to exercise, you have to weight train, and you have to eat your proteins. And if you can't eat it, you have to drink it. And most of the times we cannot eat as much protein as we need, so you have to drink them.
Okay. I think this is on your website, but that you help people for ages 40 to 75 to get and stay fit with programs, and this is the part that's on the website, that blend wellness, mindfulness, and self-compassion. Can you talk about that? What does that mean, blending wellness, mindfulness, and self-compassion?
We are the hardest on ourselves. We usually talk the most negative to ourselves. And I think the mind controls everything. The mind controls what we're focusing on, what we want to do, how we talk to ourselves. And I think the more you can control positivity, the more your body will respond because your cells react to your negative talks. And I'm a big believer in starting your day with a positive note. So do something in the morning that inspires you instead of, For me, for instance, how I start my day, and I always teach my clients, is start with either positive affirmations, reading something that really sets the tone of the day. Don't go on social media. Don't go into comparison mode. You get down this rabbit hole, and always know there's nobody like you. You're the only one. So, in I always start with the mindset first, and then work out when you feel the best. Some people don't like to work out first thing in the morning. Some people just like to have 2 hours to leisure away and do their thing to set their mind right, and that's okay. And the body will respond to when you feel the best, and for your workouts, and that's when we are usually not injury prone. But when we are focused on something out of a negative mind, a lot of times we can get injured, or our focus is not really where we're supposed to be. So I think body, mind, and soul, or the mind controls the cells, and it's, I think, super important to start there. It's a muscle.
When you work with your clients, do you start with an assessment? And if so, what does that evolve? And if we wanted to gauge where we are, do you have any recommendations on how we could do an assessment for ourselves?
Yeah. So let's say you come to me and you say, "Hey, Kirsten, I would like to. What would you like to do? What is your?" So I'm just say you coming to me. Give me what would you like to do?
Increase upper body strength.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 68. Well, 68 in a few days, weeks.
And do you have a busy lifestyle? Like, do you run around?
Um, I take care of grandkids and my mom, and I still am working, and so yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
she's
busy.
busy.
I'm busy.
Okay. So when do you normally work out? Do you work out in the mornings? Do you work out in the
10
afternoon?
o'clock is my best time of day.
Okay.
Yeah,
And for upper body strength right now, are you going to the gym or are you doing it at home?
gym, gym.
Okay.
I do have some weights at home, but not real heavy ones.
Okay, great. So I would recommend for you to do it 3 days a week. Pick the muscle group that you like to improve the most. So let's say if it's your upper body, let's say your back is the biggest muscle, right? Because it has a lot of muscles in there. I would start with the back, because with the back, you're doing biceps, you're doing shoulders, you're doing everything already. So I would do back exercises twice a week, and I would do 1 day heavy weights,
Okay.
and then 1 day lighter weights in volume. So let's say on a Monday, I would do weights heavier, like pull down. It's a good one because you get your abs involved. And then you superset it with a chest press. When the back works out, the chest relaxes. When the chest works out, the back relaxes. So you never have to take a break. That's why you can do so much in 10 minutes. So let's say you're going and doing a pull down, wide pull down, and then you're going to go and do a press. And if you don't have a press available, you can find an incline, you can do push-ups, right? And you can do 3 to 4 sets of, if it's a heavy day, I would go with no more than 10 to 12 reps. And if it's a lighter day and you're going for volume, go for 15 to 20 reps, because all you're doing is we're stressing the muscle and then you're pumping the volume in it. And then you have to nurture the muscle right after. So the easiest way to feed the muscle right after is with a shake, because it's already broken up protein and it goes into your system the fastest. Single rows are really good. So we need the width for your back. We need the middle part of your back, which is all this where the spine muscles are. So you're going to have to do a wide row. So a seated wide row would be great. And then a single low row for the lower back. We call it Christmas tree on the bottom part. You want to get that too. So 3 different exercises: pull downs, wide row, single row, and then superset them with chest exercises. It could be a fly, it could be a press, and it could be a push up. And those are heavier weights. And then on the days that you go lighter, either you can do the same exercises and just go on lighter weight, or you can do other things that are involved in the back muscles. You could take an exercise band and just do pull downs. So it becomes a therapeutical exercise, but you're working on volume. So I always say 1 day heavy, 1 day a lighter weight. Pick one body part. that you want to improve the most. And you should stick with that body part. To see major improvements, it usually takes 6 to 12 weeks.
Okay.
So a lot of times people don't have enough patience and, oh, well, it's not happening yet. And well, you have to give it some time because the muscle has to recover. And remember, we are not developing in the gym. We are developing when we're resting.
Yeah, that's the hard part to remember, that is the rest day is when it rebuilds. And I know that intellectually, but it's hard to remember that all the time. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I didn't expect such a detailed workout plan, and I'm definitely going to adapt this.
All right, we're going to check you out here, Chris.
Yeah, 12 weeks. I
Yeah.
love it. Thank you.
So you have a program called Beginner, Intermediate, and Advanced Warrior Programs. Why warriors?
I always considered myself a warrior, being from my childhood on. I had a very rough childhood. And I believe women in general we have always had to fight for a stance in our life, in society, in the man's world. And I just feel like that we are really true warriors. And I call them positive warriors and compassionate warriors. And we carry so many hats. And we are the true fighters of the world, I believe. And when we always had to pick up the slack and we always got the least benefits for all of our efforts.
Okay, yeah.
And it takes, a true warrior to be in life in general.
Okay, yes. I'm with you on that.
Well, going back, you mentioned this a little bit ago. How do we avoid injuries? I wanted to talk a little bit about injuries because that does happen as we get older sometimes, but how can we come back after we've injured ourselves?
I'm going to give you an example. I have a gentleman, he's 94. He came to me and he fell and he hurt himself, banged his head. And so they called me in and said, we need your help to help him not to fall anymore. And I said, well, the number one thing is balance work. And flexibility. We need to stretch and we need to work on balance. Just simple things like lateral movements. A lot of times we don't get injured in the gym unless, we're doing things that we shouldn't be doing at our age. There's certain exercises that I don't recommend for people to do when they are of a certain age, which means stiff-legged deadlifts, really bad for the lower back. Regular crunches, unless you already have a strong core because it's very hard on your back. Shoulder presses with too much weight, I rather go with lighter weight because it's all about the mobility. So the way I work with him is with a lot of band works, hip bands, incline presses, push-ups, and then just work on balance and then also strength. He actually recently fell and knew how to fall and he rolled and he didn't get injured and he was fine. So how to maneuver sideways, because a lot of times we lose our balance when we go sideways, right? Roll the ankle or step off a curbside. We get out of a car. It's always usually lateral movements if you think about it. Or when we're lifting something over our head and returning, we get injured a lot of times.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad one, right? Twisting and over your head's not good.
Right. So it takes a lot of core strength. So I always start, and a lot of people cannot do planks yet. So I always start with reverse planks, holding your arms up and your feet off the chair and just see how long you can hold that. It's called a reverse plank. It's so much easier than a regular plank. And then just working on the opening of your shoulders, So I always take an exercise band and move the shoulders in the socket because a lot of times we sleep on our shoulders and we need to keep the shoulder mobile and so that we don't get a frozen shoulder. Also, how do you sleep at night? Do you sleep with a sleeping pillow? Because we should hug something. If you have a partner, great, hug him. If you don't, then take a pillow and sleep with a pillow because we put a lot of pressure on our hips and our shoulders. So the way we sleep is really important too. And I always make adjustments for my clients as far as also decompress the spine. Are you decompressing? A compressed spine or a compressed nerve is very common. It's actually 97% of the nation has some compression in their spine. It's just, we carry things, we sit too much. And I always say, find a monkey bar and hang off a monkey bar, but the feet have to touch the floor. You cannot have the feet off the ground because as soon as the feet come off the ground, your core is engaged and your spine cannot decompress. So you want to hold on and have the feet under and just hold it for like 15 seconds. And what it does, it decompresses your spine, and your injury is way less than if you just jump right in and not decompress.
Oh, wow.
That's something I never heard about, keeping your toes on the ground. That makes a lot of sense.
And that's easy to do if you find a kid's playground because they're not as high.
Yeah.
That's great.
Not as high anymore, right? They used to look really high. Not
Oh,
Yeah.
they sure did.
Yeah, they did.
Back in
Now-
the day when I would hang upside down, from my knees. Yeah, that's fun.
Can you talk to us about the power of reinvention as we age? Why is this so powerful for us?
Because, love that question. When we are going through the whole stages of menopause, we look back too much in our past. Oh, I used to look like that. Oh, I used to look like that. Oh, I wish I would look like that. I want to look like that again. Or the kids are out of the house now, and what have I got to do now? And I think reinventing and knowing that life, it's like I always call it the second chance of living your life all over again, but just smarter choices.
Smarter choices. That's right.
And you can choose who you want to be. And I think that once you look at how fun it actually is to be 50 and to say, I can do it all over again. And I can be completely full of self-love and selfish in a positive way, that I can just take care of me and do what I like to do and be surrounded by whoever I want to be surrounded. I think it's really important that you don't look at it like, oh, my life is over now, and that you reinvent and think about, okay, well, what is it that I would like to do now? I've raised 2 children. My daughter's going to be 20 on Tuesday, and my son is 26. And I feel like, oh, I've done that. Okay, now it's my time,
Right.
Others or caregivers, we are so selfless. Yeah, it's the most unforgiven job because people are not as grateful sometimes for giving us compliments when we need it. We need reassurance and all of that. But when that goes away, what are we doing then? Then we have to focus on who am I? And I think reinventing who you are and saying, what is it that I always wanted to do? And just do it. Don't worry about what's going to happen. Just do it and enjoy the journey, because it's the journey, really, that's the fun.
Yeah. Enjoy the journey, right? There's so many transitions in the second half of life. That's very good advice. So I wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk about food and eating. And how do you eat? Are you vegan, vegetarian, paleo, keto? What do you suggest? What do you do? And what do you do with your clients? Yeah.
I tried it all. I competed, so I was very keto, or I call it the rotation diet, which is the oldest diet in the book. They call it now metabolic confusion diet. It is called the rotation diet. Somebody just reinvented the name. I've done the South Beach for the last 2 weeks of my competition. And I have tried vegan for 8 months. And what I have found is that we need it all. And here's why. Because the body needs all different aminos, needs different nutrients. So we need carbohydrates when we have an expenditure of energy, right? We can get it from fat and carbohydrates, but the carbs also feed our brain. So I don't shy away from bread. I don't shy away from pasta. I don't shy away from oatmeal. I just know when I can eat them. I'm a big fan of fish. So I love salmon. I love mahi. I love all these omegas that I get from fish and the aminos. And I love fish for dinners. because they're really light proteins and the body doesn't store them and has a hard time digesting them. Where if you eat a steak late at night, that's really hard on the body. I say rather do that for lunch. Yeah. I do believe in the power of plants, and I do eat at least 50% of my diet, a daily diet intake has plants in them. Like my protein shakes, I found that I used to love protein bars, and I was a sponsored athlete. I never liked shakes because I just didn't like the chalkiness, the taste of them. And then I found Arbonne, which is a company that I really, really loved. And they are European standards. So they ban over 2,000 chemicals. And I just wanted something that is pure and good. And how do I get my protein in a daily? Because I need to eat 180 grams of protein a day. So for me to get that in, I have to do a shake. And the protein bars just were spiking my sugars too fast. And so I always said a shake was much easier. And it is a vegan company, so it's all plant-based. And I do believe in the balance of plants, poultry, and carbs. So to say, long story short, I think we need it all.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And when people come to you and you do nutritional coaching, what's your process for doing that?
I need to know your heritage. What's your background? Because it really plays a role in your DNA and how your body processes things. I need to know if you have what is your daily routine. So I always say, give me 3 days of knowing how you eat. Write it down for me, and then I take a look at what you're eating and what your patterns are. Are you an emotional eater? Are you do you not like to eat? Do you skip meals? Do you get anxiety? I can tell by the way you eat of where your moods are, and if you are, because a lot of times we eat for nourishment, but a lot of times we eat for emotions, right? And to know why do you eat at a certain time, like if you're eating right before you go to bed and all of these things. So nutrition, I always look at for the first give me 3 days, because nobody eats the same way every day. So if you give me 3 days, then I can see your patterns a little bit, and then I can pinpoint, okay, I'm not trying to change your diet completely, because I'm not going to take away all your favorite foods. I'm just going to readjust when I think they would be better fit. Have a chocolate if you need to have a chocolate. Just don't have it right before you go to bed, because I always say sugar is like gas in a tank. If you're not going to burn it off, you don't need extra gas in the tank. So if you're filling up your gas in the morning and then you are parking your car and you're not doing anything all day long and you're putting more gas in the tank, it's going to overspill. And it's the same in your body. So know that how much you need to take to burn it. I'm going to calculate your BMR, which is your resting calorie burn. So while we're sitting right here and I'm talking to you, my body's burning calories. How much is that? Do you know how much calories you burn? So for me right now, I'm burning about 1,800 calories by not doing anything. The more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns by just sitting here. And then we calculate, okay, do you exercise? Do you like to exercise? How many days a week can you commit to exercising? And then we determine how much calories a day you take. For the body to lose weight, you need to burn 3,500 calories a week. So then you will lose 1 pound. So let's say your BMR is 1,400 calories, right? And the BMR is calculated. There are BMR calculators. I have one on my website as well in the program. Is your height, your age, and height, age, and
Weight?
and weight. Yeah. Fighters now. Thank you. Of course, the weight. And then it calculates to you how much calories you're burning right now. Once you have that, then you say, okay, do I exercise twice a week, 3 days a week? That will give you usually when we exercise for 30 minutes, we burn about 300 to 500 calories. So to make the numbers, if you want to burn that pound of fat a week, you have to take away for you exercising for 3 days a week. So that's 1,500 calories right there. So we need to get another 2,000 calories a week. we have to take it from food. And that's where that comes in, that we're lowering the sugar, we're upping the protein, because it's very hard for the body to convert protein into fat, much easier to do sugar into fat. The body always goes to your fat storage for energy, for your glycogen, for your carbs first, for energy. So if I had a piece of bread, the body needs to burn that piece of bread off first, which takes about 20 minutes. And then it goes into fat burn. If we work out first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, we're immediately in fat burn. If we wake up in the morning and we do a 30-30-30 plan, which means 30 minutes of awakening, you do a 30-minute workout and have 30 grams of protein, that's the best. Some people need protein first. And the only way I know that is I know by your heritage. So that's why I want to know. Are you of European descent? That means you like meat and potatoes. Are you of the South America area, Spain? You do a lot better on fish. And it's all in our DNA on how we respond to our food. There's actually a blood type for your food, right? I don't know if you ever heard of it. A, B, and O is the best, where you can just basically eat anything. But it is how our body responds to our nutrition. So once I know these things, that's when I know, okay, let's try it with with a South Beach diet or a combination, and then I change around of what your habits are and how we change it. So some of my people eat breakfast and some of them don't. It depends all on your body type.
What about fasting or intermittent fasting? Do you consider that?
Yeah, love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'm a strong believer to do at least a prolonged fast twice a year. And here's why. The body renews its cells when we are in a fasting state. That's why when we are sleeping, the body renews itself. Its cells, it burns off whatever, it moves the cell out of the body, the broken cell, it repairs it. But a lot of times when we eat too much sugar and eat too many, overload the body never has time to repair it. So what it does, it takes the broken cells and just puts it somewhere and just keeps it in the cell, never ever repairs it. And just, okay, I'll do this later. So to fast means the first 24 hours, and this is in my business for the fitness for the busy lifestyle as well. You are only doing hydration for 24 hours, meaning you take some hydration sticks, put them in your water, preferably very low sugars. Auburn has some great hydration sticks, but there's also, you can get some at Whole Foods if you don't want those. And drink all day long. You can have tea, you can have black coffee, just no creamer in it. You can have sparkling water, you can have regular water, whatever it is. And then the next day for 48 hours, you do hydration, but you add bone broth. And bone broth is really high in collagen, protein, low sugar, very good for cleansing. And then the third day is when you go and have a meal after 72 hours, right? Which usually for me is in like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because a fast starts, let's say we do it on a Monday, a fast starts on a Sunday after the last meal. And what happens in your body the first 24 hours, your body starts becoming insulin sensitive. It starts renewing its cells and taking the old cells that are broken, that are not helping your body, that are toxic, that are holding you back from having better skin, having a better gut functioning. It carries it out. Like if we have a bacteria in our gut, it is very good to do a fast just for the body to get rid of it. On the 48, and we always think, oh, I'm going to be low on energy. The first day, you're going to have to deal with the transition, and you might feel you want to go to bed earlier, right? Because your body's ready to repair. On the second day, when you wake up, your HGH level have now tripled and gone up in your body. And you are now insulin sensitive, HGH level have gone up. Your body's cell repair is in high drive, And it's the most important thing I think you can do to your body is to do a prolonged fast. When I get people that are stuck, I always put them on a prolonged fast. And it's amazing. They lose 9 to 10 pounds within 3 days to 7 days. And the reason why is because the body was just holding on to fake fat, I call it. And that's usually 5 to 7 pounds in the body. And the body just gets rid of it. You're going to be going to the bathroom a lot because the only way we lose weight is to sweat, talk, and go into the bathroom.
You said this is called a prolonged fast?
Prolonged fasting. And intermittent fasting is great if you figure out, we all need to eat within a 8 to 10 hour window, depending on what you are. Like if I'm a high performance athlete, I need more food, obviously, and I have bender. But if I'm just day to day, I always say eat in an 8 hour window. And what that window is very different for people. So for me, my 8 hour window means that I need to eat at 8 o'clock in the morning around 8 to 10 o'clock. But I stop earlier. And some people need to eat later and then start start later in the day. They might start eating at 12 o'clock and then eat until the last meal at 8 o'clock. And it all depends on how your body responds, right? And there's a trial and error there. You have to, give it at least a week or two and see how your body responds. And that's when you can say, okay, well, I didn't feel so good. Like I just recently had a gal, she came to me, she couldn't lose weight. She had lower back issues. She was a marathon runner. She was stressed out. So I said, okay, we need to cut down your, energy expenditure because your body's stressing. You're going through menopause. Your cortisol levels are up. Let's do a prolonged fasting. She did that. She lost 16 pounds and now she's stuck again, right? So now we need to adjust because the body just dropped all the weight. It's in a new state. She's still doing had a lot of stress because she runs her own company. And I always say, try to get a massage in there. Some try to slow down the stress level, right? As much as we can. Food is very stressful for our body. Running is very stressful. Exercising is stressful for our body. So we have to find a balance in that. And so now we swapped. I told her, I need you to have breakfast. Where before she didn't start eating. She did the intermittent fasting and she started having her first meal at 11. And then she ate because she wanted to eat with her family at 6 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock. But since she's stuck now, I said, okay, let's switch and have you have protein in the morning and then don't have a late meal. So if you have a late meal and you want to eat with your family, I highly recommend make it with fish, make it with something that's really, really light. Don't definitely no carbs at night. I always say you don't need no carbs at night.
So going back to your background, we mentioned that you won a silver medal in the Junior Olympics. I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I'm curious, what was your sport?
I did heptathlon. So I did high jump, far jump, shot put, 200, 400 meter sprints, and relay.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's very cool. A true athlete, man.
Yeah, I always loved competing. I always loved sports. And that's where the love for the gym came from. I actually wanted to be a physical therapist at one point in time. And I did an intern at a physical therapist office and I had really bad posture actually. And they helped me with my posture and it was very painful because, when we sit like this, the body's muscle and when we're slouching forward, the body's muscle will adapt and build the muscle to keep us in that position. When we learn and train to stand up tall and to stand up right, the body, it hurts because now the muscles have to rebuild to keep us in that posture. But I also went to her because my left knee was from running all the track and everything was just a little bit more on the injury prone side and was hurting. And she told me when I was 18 to go and bodybuild. That is actually how I got into bodybuilding. And I was one of the first girls in the gym. Back then everybody did aerobics, no women really lifting weights.
Jazzercise, right?
That's right. And and that's how I started bodybuilding and fell in love with it and realized, oh my God, if I can lift weights, I can stop. I never had to have surgery. I can help my body heal faster and protect my joints, protect everything. And So my segue from running the Olympics in Berlin was to bodybuilding. Yeah.
And you compete. You have compete. I don't know if you still do, but you competed in bodybuilding?
I did. I've competed in figure because I'm 6'1", and fitness was not my forte as far as jumping and, doing the flips and all of that. So I did the competitions. I used to do a little bit of runway modeling. And from that, I decided when I came to California, I said, well, I want to be in all those fitness magazines. And how do I get to be in the fitness magazines? So I said, well, I have to win a competition. So I signed up for a competition and won the show, won the overall, then did the second show, won that. And then I was in all the magazines.
That's amazing. That's great. Hey, if somebody wants to follow you online, where should they go?
My website is partyanddiet.com. I also have an Instagram called Party and Diet, and that's where you will find my clients working out with me, also my workouts, and I have a Facebook that's under Kerstin Schulze, and I have a YouTube channel called Party and Diet Productions.
Great, great. Well, we'll link all those in our show notes.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. This was great.
Yeah,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
My pleasure, and loved all your questions. And if they ever have a question or any, reach out.
Thanks.
I always will answer. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, Kristen had a great story, didn't she?
Oh, yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, I particularly had to agree when she said that so often women tend to go too far, too fast, too long when they first are beginning to work out again. And I really appreciated her ideas for beginners with the squat, the seated squat, push ups from a table, and reverse crunches rather than regular crunches.
Oh, yeah. I do those reverse crunches at the gym sometimes. They're a good workout.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they really are. And you know what else I liked was when she was talking about the hanging monkey bar and, kind of using that to, decompress your spine, because that just sounds like it would feel good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it does sound good. I just have to go find a playground or something with the monkey bars, because I think that would be that's a good. Well, I do that sometimes also at the gym where I just hang on
Mhm.
a bar, rack,
Yes.
whatever, and
Yes.
then maybe do leg lifts or something. But that's another really good workout.
Yeah. And you know what just popped into my mind? There was a video that we shared recently on our Becoming Ellie page and also in the group of Ginny McCall when she was hanging in, I think it's her daughter's kitchen. Maybe it's her kitchen. I'm not sure. But she has hang bars installed in the ceiling of her kitchen. And it's just kind of a funny, quick 30-second video.
She was pouring her coffee or her tea or
Yeah.
whatever while
Yeah.
hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, and make it a grocery list or something, and then it's just really it's cute if you haven't
So
seen it,
she's
you have to
hanging
go.
with she's supporting her body. She's holding her body up there with one arm.
Yeah, one arm like it's nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was impressive. I saw that you posted. That was
well,
great.
and maybe our listeners don't realize, but Ginny is someone that was in, American Ninja Warrior, and she did her first chin up or pull up at age 63, which I think is really inspirational?
Yes, and that's an episode to go back and check out if
Right.
if you don't remember that one, because she was also impressive. So Kirsten I would encourage people to look at our show notes, to look at the photo of her and maybe go to her website, because she is a gorgeous woman.
Yes. She's very serious about training and bodybuilding and yeah.
Yeah. Also, her acting career is interesting. So I do encourage people to go check her out.
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool.
Yeah. So if you're listening, let Chris or me, both of us, know if you have some thoughts on our talk with Kirsten or how you're doing on your own fitness journey. If you have any thoughts about health, fitness, monkey bars, please share. Let us know.
Yes, absolutely. We'd love to hear from you. You can leave us a message at becomingellie.com, and you can also find us as Becoming Ellie on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
Please consider joining our private Becoming Ellie Facebook group.
And if you've been listening to our podcast recently, you may have noticed that we're suggesting some other podcasts that you might enjoy.
So here's one to check out. You may like Women Over 70, Aging Reimagined. It's a podcast dedicated to shattering the myth that women become irrelevant as they age. Listen to their powerful stories that celebrate women's enduring courage, compassion, and contribution. You can learn more at womenover70.com.
Yes, be sure to check out their podcast. Well, it was great talking with you today, Jill. I'm looking forward to the next episode of Fit Strong Women Over 50 podcast.
I am too. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.